So yesterday I went thrift shopping and I found a 4K version of Twice Upon a Time, so I thought, why not watch it, get high, and take some notes for Doctor Who.
Older gentlemen, like women, can be put to use.
You can't say things like that.
Is this considered a Christmas special? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's snowy and wintry, but I don't know if it's a Christmas special. I don't know, I guess. But this is one of my favorite specials. I love Peter Capaldi, I love David Bradley, I love Bill. It's so much that I really like in this episode. And yeah, it's just a fun old time. I do have some complaints here or there with this one, but for the most part, this is a very good episode. I was having a really good time watching this, and I just wanted to do a video and talk about it, so I don't really have a plan here. We're kind of figuring this out. But alright, let's get into my notes that I took here for Twice Upon a Time. I really, really like the intro with David Bradley, especially like previously in Doctor Who when we go like 803 episodes in the past or something like that. The only part of that I don't like, though, is the really weird like CGI transition.
Emotions, love, pride, hate, fear.
It's William Hartnell, and then it's like a CGI monster, and then it's David Bradley. Other than that bit, I really dig it. It's such a cool thing and such an easy way to like catch the viewer up if you happen to not know who this Doctor is, I guess. Although I don't know how you wouldn't know. It's a really fun way to add him into the story and connect it to the past and all that. I really dig that. The recreated TARDIS they have, just all the sets, the companions that they recast. It's a really fun time. Honestly, I would watch a whole special of just David Bradley as the Doctor. I don't know if that was ever considered or not, but I would totally watch that. I just think he's so fun, and he captures the first Doctor so well. Yeah, I really like it. I really like his TARDIS too. His TARDIS looks nice. I'm not always a fan of like just the plain white TARDIS, but his looks really nice. But so onto the story here a little bit. The Doctors, we have the 12th Doctor and we have the first Doctor, both refusing to regenerate, and they end up in Antarctica, I believe, and they're just kind of like going on their own. They're refusing to die. They're afraid of moving on, and then also with them you have this captain who is also afraid to die, which, you know, I'm a little whatever on the captain storyline. I like Mark Gatiss. He's awesome. I really do dig him. Like, if it wasn't him, I probably would care even less about this part of the storyline, but I get we have to have another person here that's also fighting to die as well, or like doesn't want to die and is afraid, so I get it, but I'm just not the biggest fan of that storyline. I know we all already know this, but Peter Capaldi is wonderful as the Doctor. I love him in this, and it's such a good, other than, honestly, the goodbye at the end with the companions does suck for him, because, like, it's such a weird story, Nardal just appears out of nowhere and shit like that, but I get it, because you do need people for Peter Capaldi to say goodbye to. You get a sweet moment with Clara, too, but that part is very random and weird, but I love this as a goodbye to him, and him hanging out with the first Doctor, and just seeing the two different versions of him. It's really good, and they have great banter together, him and David Bradley.
Have you had some of this?
Well, you know, I may have snuck a glass at some point in the last 1500 years. It's been rock and roll.
Just their little comments back and forth. I love that. But so then we get introduced to like the villain, kind of. Bill shows up as like this see-through glass lady. Now the Doctor is unsure if she is real or not. Like, what's going on? He doesn't really know. Turns out by the end it's Bill's memories, but like, so it's kind of Bill, it's kind of not Bill. It's very complicated. It's unfortunate what happened with Bill. You know, she turns into a Cyberman. Now she's this, I guess, just like nothing great with her, to be honest, which sucks because she's a great companion. But her endings just aren't the best. Even though the Cyberman storyline with her and all that, I as sad as it was, I really do enjoy that. But yeah, this stuff with Bill, I like because Bill's there, but it's very weird. A little Westworldy, where it's like, if this is the memories of them, is that them? Is that not them? What's going on here, you know? Oh, we get the first Doctor being introduced to the sonic screwdriver / the sonic glasses, and he hates those things. He yells at the 12th Doctor for playing with his toys. At one point he gets the glasses, and that's a really fun moment.
Why am I wearing these?
Because I love it. Never take those off.
It's just so fun seeing those two just like squabble at each other, you know? So Peter Capaldi is running to escape with the group. He threatens the big bad, the glass lady. He's leaving, and he threatens her that, you know, if he finds something that he doesn't like that she's doing, he's gonna come back and stop her, basically. And then she has this big moment where she reveals to the first Doctor his future. So you get another one of those moments where there's like a bunch of screens or bubbles or whatever, and he gets to see all different like incarnations of himself in the future. And a cool moment, but it's not as cool now because how many times this has happened in Doctor Who. Like even if you watch one of the old times of it happening, it's kind of like whatever, you know? I do like their plan, how they cleverly escape to her. They go down the chains and like they're sliding all the way down to the snow, and then like they make the glass lady and whoever else is there think that they're taking Peter Capaldi's TARDIS away, that they're trapped, but they run over to David Bradley's TARDIS, the first Doctor, and we get to see inside there again, get to be in the classic TARDIS with them. That's real fun. Again, I wrote down here, the TARDIS just looks so good. I really love their recreation of the first TARDIS. We also get another moment of the Doctor, this time leaning over to Bill and being like, this place needs to be cleaned. Maybe grab a dustpan or something. Like, he's still laying into her, being like, you know, you're a woman, so fucking pick up around here, honey. Oh, so the first Doctor, this is when he actually wears the sonic glasses. He ends up accidentally looking at the 12th Doctor's web history, which, yikes, I wonder what the fuck's on there. I wonder what porno the Doctor looks at, you know? That's a good question. What does he find sexy? Maybe he's looking at, like, Rule 34 of Daleks and, like, Cybermen's, or, like, Weeping Angels, Rule 34. You never know. That dude's kind of a freak. After that, they end up going to the center of the universe to find a Dalek, and they kind of tease us, like, what are they going to be finding here? They're going to find somebody, but they want to kill the Doctor. It's kind of obvious, I feel like, especially when the lasers start shooting at them, and then fucking David Bradley's picking up pieces of the Dalek. I thought that was a neat moment. A good Dalek that ends up helping out the Doctor, because ultimately that ends up hurting the Daleks. It's kind of neat, whatever. It's also just one of those moments that, like, it's a special with the Doctor's meeting. Of course you want them to be with a Dalek together. And why not have the Dalek be a good Dalek? You know, I don't know. I don't see anything too bad with that. I mean, especially because, like, it wasn't that big in the story, which maybe that's the problem for some people. I don't know. But yeah, I don't mind the good Dalek. I thought that was kind of fun. I don't know. It doesn't do much for me one way or the other, but I did think it was like a neat thing for the story. I really liked this part. I liked a lot of the scenes where the Doctor's like trying to figure out if Bill is real or not, and even like by the end of the episode, he still kind of doesn't consider her real. If it doesn't, at least it doesn't feel like it to me. But he's scared that she's gonna get hurt. He ends up sending her back to the TARDIS. They have a little squabble back and forth. She calls him an ass. And then David Bradley comes out as the first Doctor and threatens to spank her.
If I hear any more language like that from you, young lady, you're in for a jolly good smack bottom.
He was gonna spank Bill, and then after, like, she comes back in later on, and he's like, hey, I don't want to have to reiterate myself, but I will spank you. I will do it hardcore, Bill. That dude's such a freak. But yeah, so apparently the first Doctor does not like cursing. This is where we start to get the reveal of maybe this isn't really Bill. She asks the captain if he wants some brandy. She goes to get it, and when she's reaching for it, you see like her glass hand, like from the lady from the beginning. So you're like, oh no, what's going on with Bill? Is she crazy? Is she not real? Is she real? Ultimately, she's just the memories of Bill. So to me, how I view it is she's just an alternate Bill, almost like if Bill got cloned and then has the ability to be anybody that she has access to the memories of, I guess. So yeah, kind of not Bill, but you know, I'd say same but different ultimately is the answer. So the Doctors are getting shot at by lasers, and then they end up telling the Dalek up top to scan him. Peter Capaldi says it, so then they figure out it's the Doctor and that he's dying, and then they're invited up to go say hi to the Dalek. This is also where we get the Captain admitting that he's afraid to die, and previously we got a scene of the Doctors talking, and they said they're afraid to die. So, you know, you're realizing, oh, this is an episode of the three people getting put together that are afraid to die, and it's going to lead to them all dying, basically. You're accepting their fate. Peter Capaldi says this line, which I couldn't believe this. You're the very first Dalek to get naked for me. That's a line in this special.
You're the very first Dalek that ever got naked for me.
You ever wanted to hear the Doctor talk about a naked Dalek? I'm telling you, that motherfucker's looking at Rule 34. He's all over that place. Bill gives the Doctor the first Doctor, a very creepy hug. You see like her glass arms and her eyes are like see-through and shit. Very creepy. I don't remember what the plan was at this part, but something happens. Oh, it's the reveal of like the glass thing is like kind of to save people and like to let them live another life, or you know, shit like that. Ultimately, it's not an evil plan. The Doctor figures out, and he's kind of conflicted on what to do because he's like, I only really know what to do when it's an evil plan. I could have liked that better if it was something that wasn't this glass thing, because I just not a big fan of how this whole thing works. So we have the big moment of the episode. Is Bill real or not? She gives the whole reveal that she's the memories and all these things, and like I said, I don't consider her real. To me, this is just another Bill. Like if Bill had twins or something. Shared memories, I guess. I don't know. When time resumes, the Captain isn't going to remember anything that happened in this episode, which blows. I hate when they kind of do things like that. I mean, I get it. It makes sense. Time froze. He wanted an adventure, all this kind of shit. It makes sense usually in stories. That's just what happens, but kind of lame. Especially with the plot twist right after this that he's a Lethbridge steward. Knowing he's gonna die, asks the doctors, can you just check in on my family and shit, like, throughout the years? And they're like, yeah, sure. What's your name? And he's like, I don't know. You probably haven't heard of us. I'm just a little Lethbridge steward. And then the doctors are like, well, Peter Capaldi is. The other guy hasn't met the Lethbridge stewards yet, I don't think. But he's shocked, like we all are. And that's a cool little moment that we get the twist that, oh, there was a fucking Lethbridge steward this whole episode, and we didn't even know. No wonder we liked this guy. Was this like Kate's great-grandfather or great-great-grandfather or something like that? This is a little weird. Every single soldier randomly starts singing Silent Night, and it's like a Christmas miracle that only ever happened this one time in the world.
I could swear it's coming from both sides.
That's a fun little fairy tale moment, especially right after this. David Bradley, the whole episode, has been saying that, like, life isn't like a fairy tale. And then at the end, Peter Capaldi says to him, yeah, it's not, but that's where we step in. So it kind of feels like that was a fun little Doctor Who moment. But I like that in this. But in any other show, this would have been the dumbest thing ever. But it felt like it fit in Doctor Who, so that's the only reason I was okay with it. And visually, like I didn't really care for the war stuff, especially when it just ends like this. Visually, it looked really good, and having the doctors there and Mark Gatiss, that made me more okay with it. But it's my least favorite part of the story. I also have a question. So like they had a piece for this day. The next day, are these fuckers just trying to kill each other again? Like, how long did they wait to fight again? And then how awkward was that next fight? Opposite sides were saving each other. When does that stop? I'm just like, that's what kind of confuses me about a little peace treaty. It's like, oh, we got a peace treaty. But, oh, tomorrow though, I'm gonna fucking kill David. Like I don't know. That may be a stupid question, but like it ultimately feels like the peace can be for nothing if, like, in a couple days you're just gonna fight each other again. That's my only question with that. So that we get a good little goodbye with the doctors. That's fun. It's also always sad because you're like, dang, now the special's over. Now they'll never hang out again until the next time the doctors meet. This does feel like a more actual goodbye, because it does feel like, oh, we won't see David Bradley again as the Doctor probably, and we're not going to see Peter Capaldi again as the Doctor probably. So this does feel like an actual goodbye for these two, other than the other doctors were like, you're like, oh, I'll see you again eventually. It might be like 10 years, but I'll see you again. Which I liked their little, it's almost a bookend where you open the episode in black and white with William Hartnell, and then you end it going back into William Hartnell. I really like that. It gets a little ruined with the bookend, because then you have to go into from that to Peter Capaldi regenerating a little bit, but I still like that. That's fun. I wish Doctor Who took more liberties like that with, like, story editing and the storytelling and stuff like that. I feel like you could do some cool shit with that, especially with how much they're trying to bring back like Sutek and all these things in modern Doctor Who. Throw in a little flashback in the beginning like they did in this, like I previously on. Stuff like that could really help. So after all this, Bill turns into Clara. The Doctor gets a great goodbye to Clara. Peter Capaldi gets a little shortened with his companions, so like it's a little awkward. Like he says goodbye to her. The Nardole just walks up, appearing out of nowhere, and they're like, yeah, we could be anybody. We could just pop up and, want to be Rose Tyler? I could be Rose Tyler. That is a pretty stupid thing that happens, but it's whatever. We needed people from Peter Capaldi to say goodbye to, and these are the only fuckers he met that could still be around. But yeah, so he says goodbye to all of them. Eventually, he gets back in the TARDIS, and he's got a couple rules for the next Doctor to follow. He gives the whole Doctor speech before they regenerate, but his is really good. I'm not even gonna attempt to quote it here. But he gives a really good speech there. After his speech, he regenerates into Jodie Whittaker. We get the Rose theme, which it threw me off at first. I was like, why is Rose playing? And then it really fit in the scene. I really liked it. I kind of forgot how fun the scene was with the TARDIS kind of like rejecting her and her falling out as the TARDIS is like exploding. With the music, it worked very, very well. But it was also weird because it was the Rose music. And that's it. That is Twice Upon a Time. For an episode that doesn't even really have a bad guy and is kind of just the two doctors hanging out with Bill and going back and forth between TARDISes and shit like that. It doesn't have a lot. I really dug it. I thought it was very fun and very well made. And yeah, I don't really have anything else to say because this is an old episode. There's nothing really to theorize on or anything, obviously. But yeah, I love me a good Doctor Who Christmas special, especially if it's going to be a multi-Doctor kind of thing. I know some people get really annoyed with multi-Doctor stuff. I just love it. I'm one of those people that, like, fan service gets to me. Even though I know how stupid fan service can be sometimes, I'm still going to appreciate it. I'm a fan that's serviced, But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you did. Comment down below your thoughts on Twice Upon a Time or Peter Capaldi's Regeneration. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace out, Girl Scouts.